The internet changed our life, connecting millions of people worldwide simultaneously. But not all people use the internet to watch YouTube videos or to use Twitter. Have you ever thought about the amount of information that exists on the internet? To put that in perspective, the internet is estimated to be 1 million in exabytes and takes more than 23 million years for the average human to go through it. But have you ever thought about what could all that information be? The internet is divided into three layers. The surface web, this is the part of the internet we use daily. It's indexed and accessible by search engines like Google. Basically, it's anything accessible to anyone and everyone using the internet and a normal browser. It makes about 4% of the internet, and this is the part of the internet where your government is probably spying on your activity and social media. Websites in the surface web sell your information to advertising agencies to recommend you products you might like based on your search history or keystrokes and the things you've clicked at. Sometimes even the things that you've talked about. And I know it scares you every time you see an ad of something that you legitimately was considering to buy. But little did you know that you actually agreed to give all your personal information in the terms and conditions that you did not read. Then we go a little bit deeper to the deep web. And people usually mistake this part of the internet and associate it with the dark web. The deep web is a group of gated websites just not indexed by a traditional search engine. And the content of the deep web is hidden behind a transfer protocol which requires authorized access using a username and a password, like your personal email or online banking app, universities research, private blogs, and organization and business information. This is the biggest part of the internet, which makes about 90%. And now we're left with the dark web. This is the part of the internet that can mess up your entire life. One wrong move, one wrong click into a hyperlink or a hidden button could cost you a lot. This is the part where everything and anything is found. This is the part of the internet which should only be accessed if you know exactly what you're doing. The dark web, luckily, is 6% of the internet, and just like the deep web, not indexed, the dark web is too. But more than that, it's encrypted by sophisticated technologies to hide it from the public. In order to access it, you would need specific browsers and software like Onion Browser. And just like the surface web, there are famous search engines for the dark web, like Tor and L2P, which still don't put a dent in all the information hidden since it's meant to be hidden. But why should I access the dark web and what is in there? It all starts from the Hidden Wiki, which contains hundreds of hidden services and websites you can find in the dark web. You can find fake passports from nearly any country and a fake driving license. You could find illegal heavy weapons of mass destruction. You could hire assassins for as low as 5,000. Just send them a picture and a name and they'll get the job done for you. Let's not forget drugs of all flavors and kinds. And one of the biggest markets in the dark web was Silk Road, named after the famous trading Asian line. Silk Road at its peak reached a revenue of approximately $190 billion, hidden in various cryptocurrencies. And in February 6, 2015, Silk Road founder and creator Ross was convicted by the FBI for money laundering, computer hacking, and conspiracy to traffic narcotics in and was later charged in May 29, 2015, a double life imprisonment plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. Rose at the time of seizure had approximately $28.5 million in possession. So basically, Silk Road was the Amazon of illegal drug activity online. People purchasing stuff from the dark web don't use traditional payment methods like credit cards or debit cards, as it can easily be tracked or even be hacked. They use other forms of purchasing methods like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But why do they prefer cryptocurrency? Well, they have fast and unlimited transactions with low transaction fees and are decentralized, which means it's not controlled by any government or watched, and offer full transparency and anonymity for both users. The dark web has played an important part in the spread and use of cryptocurrency, and slowly Bitcoin became king in the dark web due to its convenience. Bitcoin was also the best choice to send large amounts of money from money laundering schemes without being noticed. Plus, it was the best option for secret organizations and hitmans to complete or pay without a centralized government noticing the movement of liquidity. Even if you don't use the internet, the dark web can still fool you. Even though data breaches are not common as they used to be, thanks to advancements in cybersecurity. And now we understand that anything built by humans can clearly be broken by them. Let's say data from a hospital service get compromised, or any organization that provides service that holds important confidential information about customers are all saved online on private servers and can, or some are hacked already without no one realization. So there is a huge chance that you have some personal data compromised that can be purchased by anyone. It's just there floating in the dark web. And let me show you what else is floating in the dark web. Social security numbers for as little as $1 for all countries, which makes it easy for hackers to commit crimes and illegal activity using another guilty person identity and putting him in trouble. For a couple of dollars an hour, you could perform a DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack, and take almost any server or a website offline. Also, for low as $50, you can get a stolen medical records and stolen credit card information. And for a couple of $1,000s, you can get a diploma or even a bachelor degree. And all of that is just available. There are websites leaking information of people like you and I, and famous politicians and celebrities. And not only that, you could also hire a hitman for 5,000 and perform a real professional murder for someone you have never seen or interacted with. There is also a human trafficking organization who can perform special videos based on the buyer's details, from rape to torture on kidnapped men, women, and kids, plus organs for sale, and that include organs of all size and age. And the creepier part is when they have discussion on where they found the kids, or where they're gonna hide them, or what kinds of kids they owned, and what plans they got for them. And that just gives you a general idea of what exists in the deep, dark side of the internet. And believe me, the deeper you go, the more you know and see. And it's believed by some that there are secret information hidden by governments in the earlier days of the internet regarding the existence of UFOs. And some people claim to know the truth, but in life there are just some things that cannot be unseen. Things normal human must not live a normal healthy mental life with. Despite all the dark things accessible, there half of the dark web funding comes from the US, which leads you to question Why would the US fund that? But I'll tell you that in a minute. People who use and run drug empires online in the dark web don't seem threatening whatsoever. They are regular people just like me and you. They live close to us, and it could be someone you know. And that's the biggest problem, that these people don't look like criminals at all. And they bend perfectly in our society. The dark web provides a safe place for illegal activity to a point that it cannot be even noticed. But the good news is only about 6% of Tor users access the illicit part of the dark web, with it estimated to be around 10,000 servers containing illicit content, which means that more than 94% of Tor users use the dark web for normal usage. Now you may ask me why it was created in the first place. Let's take this back to the 70s. The US military needed a way of communication, a fast, reliable, and secure one for soldiers overseas. So the Project Darknet was coined in the 1970s to design networks isolated from the ARPANET. The government funded military academic network was involved in the Internet for security purposes. But just like anything, the dark web has also its advantages. Many governments around the world take control and deem content that declassify as obscene away from the public. And people who usually criticize high power usually end up unvoiced by banning them from social media or taking their posts down. And just like I said earlier, the dark web provides a safe haven for everybody. It's just like the world we live in. Not all people in it are genuine. So reporters and people who share information have full freedom of speech there. And today, the internet became the voice of humanity. A man could go in the street and start talking, but only a couple of people will get the message. He could start a movement, but again, he will be limited to the people present there at the moment. But record a video of yourself, and if it gets viral, your message now is at every human hands around the world. Today, more and more rules are being enforced on the internet usage and social media uploads. 20 years ago, a person who used the internet for fun used it as a method to escape reality, which is often cruel, but now a person who does not use the internet is actually escaping reality. In the time we live in right now, everything we know that was not possible without the internet is now possible. Who would have thought that people could have online schools or work from home or run a multi-million-dollar business just from their couch? And nowadays, some people might prefer the new reality for its convenience, of course. The new lifestyle that forces you slowly to give up on your social life, your privacy, and soon even freedom. But the question lies, is all that worth it? And at what cost?